You are very
Good evening and welcome to another exciting edition of the Sunday edition of the program. And tonight we look at conversations that we'll be seeing about Nigeria's democratic process, specifically the current debate surrounding the 2026 Electoral Act as amended. So across the country, we've seen opposition parties, civil society groups, we've seen a lot of persons calling for the amendment of the newly enacted Electoral Act 2026, and some saying portions of the law could weaken electoral transparency and democratic integrity ahead of the 2027 general elections. My name is Ubong Usoro in Abuja, and I'm welcoming you to the program. We have joining us tonight to help make sense of this discussion, a politician and a good governance advocate. We have Mr. Destiny Enabulele, who's joined us live in Abuja studio as we discuss Nigeria's democracy process. Opposition calls for amendments of electoral acts. Thank you so much, Mr. Enabulele. Always a pleasure to have you on the program.
Thanks for having me.
All right, so all right, let's talk about let's start on the lighter notes. About our electoral process. We've seen the electoral bill being signed into law. Now it's an electoral act. It was a bill where it went before the Senate, and some Nigerians were protesting on the streets of Abuja. We saw those protests. The Senate went ahead to allow electronic transmission of results, but in places where they cannot do it for maybe reasons best known to INEC, they can use manual to tally the results and also go to collation and announce the result. But some Nigerians are still interested. Yesterday we saw Peter Obi still speak about the Electoral Act when he went to finally get registered with the ADC, right, and get his membership card. He's now fully a member of the African Democratic Congress, still talking about the Electoral Act. Let's talk about it. How does it come to you?
Well, Sora, let me again appreciate your platform for having me this evening. You know, I think one of the sisters' platform once invited me to dwell on the subject matter, and I told them that I wasn't interested. Because if you look at the whole thing, it's a charade. It's a charade in secrecy. For me, if you go to the Electoral Act 2022, if you ask me, that is far, far better than what we have now. You ask me why? I think it's section, if I'm not mistaken, 48, 60, 52, and all of that. Those three sections. Ranking section of politicians. What we have in the previous, in the Electoral Act 2022 was that, yes, there was a proviso that indeed the onus rely on INEC to use whatever means deemed necessary to transmit the results. Either whichever means they deem it fit to transmit the results. Unlike this, which is expressly that the only way is manual. When they say that when there are no network, what that means is that it's a total, the Nigerian factor. So for me, you see, if you look at the evolution of every elections from 1960, you will know that Nigeria our elections has only been, a kind of a theater of frustration. All the elections, without missing words. Just name Shagari, just name them. It's a tug of war. So what this new, alteration from a woo and the likes was trying to see how it can be seamlessly. Let me use one as a case study. Right. Like the BVAS, the Bimodal Voter Accreditation System, was to cure the presiding officer. Yeah. The presiding officer, according to the Electoral Act, we look at the voter who are set before the BVAS and deemed, okay, it's eligible to vote. But then the politicians go where there are no persons showing up for the voters, they will just tip and increase figure. So these beavers was to checkmate the electoral officer by way of you come in, tender your voter's card with a snap. That will have a record how many persons that turn out for that polling unit at that section. I don't know if you're getting me. That's exactly what the beaver, that's exactly what they try to cure. But the Nigerian system has already known we are wired with utmost humility, including my humble self, all of us. All we want to cut corners to get our aims, at any rate. If you look at the present crisis that is currently ruining this country as it stands now, with this ruling party, the APC.
You call them a ruling party?
Yes, with all sorts of humility. They are. Because if you look at from the very inception of this administration, of this APC administration from Buhari to date, has never been well with Nigerians. That is the gospel truth. That is the gospel truth. I wouldn't want to go into the insecurity and what have you. Are we better off now? In terms of living, even some persons that before now have been in the middle class, they are neck deep in poverty. You can attest to that.
But we've also seen, but let's not divert from...
because are they really ruining? What is working in this country? As you speak, even in the seat of power, they have no power. They have no light. Even in Nassau Rock, they have left the national grid. They are now with solar power. Then, if for instance, if a father is in a house and decide to provide the children, it's okay because the father, you enjoy some when dad is at home, there are certain things that you have to enjoy, unlike when he's absent. When you ask, you have to question if those that are supposed to be providing the power are suddenly left the national grid. You and I will have to suffer. We have to pay through our nose. As we speak in Edo, I don't think there are some areas since October last year. The only light they've seen is for about 3 minutes in Sakoba houses in Edo State, in Benin City, the heart of the state. Even in Abuja here, even where I stay, you are just looking at me as if I'm speaking. You understand, you are feeling exactly what I'm talking. They are not power. How many times has the national grid collapsed this year? How many times?
Yeah, we could have irregular power, but where the experience I have is that we still have, as it were, even when the PDP were in power, we still saw some of those issues that we're concerned about. But let's talk about.
You see, no, I'm coming. I'm sorry.
But when your party was in power, we still had a selective power.
You see the problem I'm having. It reminds me of Boala, experience with Modi of Al Jazeera. He was only coming up with excuses. We'll try to, anytime they ask, okay, it's not happening in America. He will anytime they say, it's not happening in the United Kingdom. Knowing fully well that these persons, they are not fighting terrorism. Terrorism is just a mere, normal, stealing and robbery and all of that is happening in the United Kingdom. They are not into terrorist or banditry, attack. But that is for what.
But I'm talking data. When the PDP were in power,
definitely why
about 16 billion US dollars was spent on electricity, and Nigeria never had 24-hour power supply, and we've not had that yet. And there are sectors that have been mentioned, right? Transmission, generation, and distribution. That if it was done better by previous administration, but we'll talk about that. Let's stay with electronic transmission of results and some of the issues that we're seeing. Yes. We are seeing some parties like IPAC opposing and saying that the act that allows manual backup of transmission instead of mandating real-time electronic transmission of results can lead to results tampering during elections. And some have seen that INEC and lawmakers choose manual backup as necessary if we have technical glitches and all of that. But let's talk about this. We'll pick one or two. There are issues about candidate selection rules now as to how long a candidate can stay in the party before he can contest for election. But let's stay with electronic transmission. I thought this was done and dusted. Some persons say this is done because the president has signed it into law. The lawmakers can now make amendments and make electronic transmission mandatory. Are you of the same opinion?
You see, to be very frank, I don't see that coming. I don't know if you listen to Mike Guinea, the former
national INEC chairman.
I think he's from Axis.
So I think Edo State or Delta.
My
boy served in
my elder brother, he wept. He wept. He told Nigerians that the 10 years that he spent in INEC was a waste of time. He gave an analogy. The INEC evolution from the manual till as currently stand. When he served under Jega, he wept. They came up with this. Perhaps it was at the synonym of this whole transformation. It was one going from one TV station to another to educate, to convince Nigeria. Indeed, it was a fantastic, evolution. It was a fantastic change. But what we now have, he told us that even at the time when they approached or perhaps interface with the legislators vehemently kicked against electronic voting. They should just forget about anything about electronic voting. What they wanted to say during their time, they discovered sections 48 or 52 or 60, that those three sections were the ringing sections. Yes, they came up with a system to be able to checkmate the system. But what do we have now? If you look at the sections 60 that talks about the transmission, in 2022 Electoral Act and the 2026 now, we will give it to 2022. Because there, it was okay, transmission through electronically. But this, they have given the INEC the power to do and to do. So for us, I say okay, going back to the, I don't see the present legislators we have now. One tree, you and I know, they are the KG cabinet of President Ahmed Bola Tinubu. Whatever Tinubu says, whether he says that he's a lifetime president, these present legislators will not object.
Is that what you think?
That is what I know. This present legislator, the 10th Assembly, if I'm not mistaken, the 10th Assembly. That is who they are. That is who they are. At any rate, since the section of this present, legislators, tell me one thing that they are objected before the president. I tell the president, no, we can't do this. I don't know if you can remind me.
But we still see systems like that.
If when he suspended the governor of Rivers, he has already sworn in. It's not Ibas, they call him. Yes, before they sending
but the president,
when to ratify.
Do you know that not all of the persons that the president sent to them to be screened as ministers were confirmed by them?
Like what's his name?
Nasri El-Rufai.
Like El-Rufai. You and I know. You see, what's wrong? This evening, I don't know. You and I know that the president never wanted. If he wants, even if you say this man is caught in the act with evidence, he will definitely have his way.
So you are saying,
let me cast your mind back to during Buhari, even when this lady is not from Delta State, that there was a civil society protest against her at that time. This thing went ahead and confirmed according. She was confirmed.
But you also remember that EFCC boss was not confirmed for many years.
I had an experience when I was in civil society in my state. I think it was during Adams Ali Oshomole. There was this certain commissioner, I will not mention the name. I think it's from somewhere from Akoko Edo, that came up with a university, certificate somewhere in France that she went to university in France and all of that. I will discover. I was the spokesperson before the State House of Assembly. I think it was headed by the former deputy governor, who was the majority leader at that time. That is
Philip Schreiber.
Philip Schreiber. And do you know the very disturbing thing? After our own deliberation with evidence and all of that, they said, what is the minimum qualification or requirement of the Constitution? See, there are lacuna in the Nigerian constitutions. We must go back to the drawing board and revisit the Nigerian constitution. What it says is that as far as the person can read and write and understand, he or she is qualified. And they indeed opened a section for her to read. And she read. I said, what you just read, what is the meaning of what you just... And she explained, and she was given the path. That's why she was confirmed. I was one of the spokesperson for Conference of Non-Governmental Organizations. I was the director of publicity. We are living... See, Nigeria is a joke.
But
that is where we find ourselves.
Right, so let's go back to our discussion tonight. We've seen the arguments now that with what the House President has signed into law, as amended by the section imputed by the Senate, where mandatory transmission of results is allowed, except in places where there are failures and glitches and all of that. Some analysts are saying that it's a win for democracy, because in a parliament system all over the world, you cannot sometimes get all of the things you want. You get some and all of that. And even if there are places that they should be glitches, they shouldn't be up to 30% of the elections. Meaning, if more Nigerians, if we have a lot of Nigerians come out to vote.
Have you seen the electoral?
If more Nigerians come out to vote,
from what I saw,
if more Nigerians come out to vote, the number
what I saw,
will not allow.
It is manual collation. It is manual collation. From what I saw or what I have read. That's why I said I will give it to the electoral act of 2022. It is manual. It is manual. You see, again, there are new discoveries in the electoral act that will be imputed by the Jega-led administration. Like the issue of beavers, for instance. What is beavers? It's a back-end storage. You have a back-end storage. It's a back-end storage. In the case, if for instance this is a device crashed, you can revert to the back-end to get all your informations. In a dual election, even till September last year or October. Still go to UCC at the point of collation, or there was already 92 or thereabout tests of collation of results, giving Dr. Asolime Godalo and the PDP the lead. All of a sudden, there was a somersault. And when we presented our case before the various tribunals, from the lower to the Supreme, the problem we have in this country, the judiciary is our first, I think is the principality fashion against Nigerians.
Nigeria's judiciary.
You see, I don't know if you listen to Igini as well. You can see Igini is a lawyer. You can see the way he castigated the judiciary. That the judiciary said that the IRF was a viewing center. That the Supreme Court said that the IRF was a viewing center. Which ordinarily ought to have been the process of transparency. To say, okay, there's a contestation between I and Osoro. You said 1,000 persons voted. I said 20 million vote for me. Then we will not go to IRF from what we have there to check if indeed what my claim is true or yours is true. That is the bullet. That is what the IREF ought to cure. But the Supreme Court, even in our own election, they said it was an academic exercise. At a point, they were almost placing a curse on us, the PDP side. The judges, they were almost placing a curse to say, okay, see, the judiciary ought to have been the last hope.
Right, but to defend the judiciary.
Let me now with this thought. If you listen to Mikey Kenny, and he has alluded to the fact that the problem that we are facing in terms of the Electoral Act it was caused by the Supreme Court, by all the tribunals, that they created this conundrum that is currently enveloping the Electoral Act and the Nigerian elections.
Right. So, in fairness, to add to that conversation, you know that the Supreme Court, I followed that judgment, especially when the 2023 general election was contested by the Labour Party and it got to the Supreme Court level. The Supreme Court, in its wisdom, looked at it and said that the IREF, as it were, and some of the things standard, didn't have, right, the acts of law from the Electoral Act, so they could not have. They could not have accepted it.
What is the art of law?
What they had was INEC guidelines. INEC guidelines recommended it, and that was why in the 2026 Electoral Act, you now saw the protestation.
Even the Nigerian Constitution stipulates that the INEC guidelines, the Act and the Nigerian Constitution shall be the guidelines for Nigeria's elections. Maybe I didn't properly catch it. If you go, you will see exactly what I'm saying. So what they are not saying that wasn't properly, who defined properly? As far as it's there, it's in the act. What is the act? It's a law guiding a particular establishment, which is known to our constitution. Is INEC not known to our constitution? Is it not known to our constitution? It is known. So for me, I think it was Dele Farotimi that said that truth dies in darkness. That Nigeria, or perhaps the authority, they are allergic to supremacy of law.
Right, but now we are seeing the introduction, and we now have it in the Electoral Act as amended, as signed into law by presidents. That stands now. So we know that e-transmission is what we have. It is what we see, and it is what Nigerians should hope for. But in places where there could be glitches, because you also look at the arguments that they gave. You come from Edo State. Some places in Edo where you maybe cannot reach people because of network issues. They've talked about infrastructure as to network coverage and all of that. Let me just say,
my local government. Let me say before you land it. Right. You see, my own local government of that Southwest. Ask anybody. There are certain areas hard to reach area. Right. Even before I came to Abuja, I was in one of the communities. That was the day I received an alert. Someone that was owing me, I received an alert in that interior. So for them to...
But we travel and we know these things. On the road, there are places you get to and you have
better to understand the issue of, IREF, beavers and whatever doesn't work with network. That you snap. When you get to, it will drop. So that excuse, to me, it is Kelewu dance taken to another level, which is different from the original or the normal Kelewu. This Kelewu is laced with Kelewu without beat. When there is a beat, Kelewu beat, and when you are dancing to it, you get the vibes.
So you are seeing insincerity.
No, I tell you in this platform that I don't have any iota of sincerity, of truth, of anything meaningful from this present head of INEC. Ahmed Peter, they call him, it's deliberate. Josh, I don't have any iota of truth, of sincerity.
Right. Let's look at another topic before another item, still on the Electoral Act, before we go on break. It's about candidate selection, rules for primaries now. We've seen where the new Electoral Act restricts parties to direct primaries or consensus arrangements, removing indirect or delegate primaries totally. And we've seen IPAC, the Inter-Party Advisory Council, saying that they may boycott the 2027 general elections, and especially the smaller parties fear that it will increase cost and limit competitiveness, giving larger parties advantage. Lawmakers argue that direct primaries enhance transparency and also reduces dispute. Let's talk about candidate selection now. Direct primaries. The APC did that. The APC did direct primaries in 20. Just a minute. The APC did direct primaries in 2018, 2019. Where Muhammadu Buhari got over, I think, 40 million votes in that particular direct primaries that were done. But smaller parties now are complaining. You've been in the electioneering arena. You've campaigned and you've also contested election. Why? I thought direct primaries showed the popularity of the people or the person involved.
And he's just being meddlesome. You see, whether primary, whether call it whatever of the party, their party, they are solely for party internal mechanism. The party determines who represents him or her and the mode or the process. At the Supreme Court, I was a candidate in the last House of Assembly election, and I won before Dennis. Whether in the House or something, use Kwetabe to remove me from the House of Assembly. That's to tell you.
That's what they are saying.
That is the gospel truth. That is the political truth. That is the religious truth.
Do you have evidence?
And he has confirmed to my community people. He has confirmed that to my community people. The last time I went, they called me. And I met with them. They said they were going to call us to settle. That he indeed, confirmed my allegations. What was your question again?
I'm talking about
direct primaries. I said something just now that just been meddlesome. That meddlesome in the sense that I was part of that, and the Supreme Court make it crystal clear that whoever represents, that the party has the sole right of the method, the approach, or who represent the party. It is the party, so right. It is when it's not right they cannot call us, and we will not interpret the law. I will also bring your constitution. What does your party constitution says? And you saw what happened not too long ago. The issue of PDP and versus the other group, the splitter group, that the judiciary now becoming an advisor, that both parties should go and settle their differences, knowing fully well that it's impossible, according to my grandmother. It's not possible. Who makes you an advisor? The law is already there. There's already a precedent by the Supreme Court. So for me...
But the Supreme Court says internal party issues should be settled by the party.
By the party. So that is it. But for you not to say, okay, you go and settle yourself, then if you... I think the committee is coming up on the 11th of the day, or 12th, I don't know. So for us, the judiciary must go back and purge itself of this. Otherwise,
well, I like to hear your views about the candidate selection. Do you think that judiciary is saying the act now saying that either direct primaries to choose a candidate or consensus, removing totally the delegate arrangements and indirect primaries are not good for our democracy? Is that what you are saying?
You see, when you're talking about delegates, direct primaries, the one that has far-reaching, I'm going to be very frank with you, the issue of delegate, like when I contested for House of Assembly, the party members must first of all elect the delegates. that the delegates will now elect who represent the party. Which ones are fast reaching? So for me, I say I'm disturbed in my statement.
So what happens when the process is being brought over? You know that in some political parties, there are people who control the machineries of the party. And sometimes they even control the delegate list. I know people even pay money sometimes to get on delegate list. I had a friend who came back the other time and said he was a delegate in a presidential election, came back and bought a car and all of that. I said, just being a delegate.
But do you know that there's another proviso? That they can have what they call a consensus.
Is there?
Tinubu knowing fully well that for him, he's not going to get any rival. Any rival. Hence, the INEC and whatever they're coming up with this, the National Assembly and everything, they're coming up with that proviso. They know it fully well. I can tell you for a free. He has no rival. But you know it's going to be very, very cumbersome for other smaller, parties in getting it. See, they will sponsor another aspirants in another political party to cut prices. Because according to that all the aspirants must agree in the consensus to say, okay, this is who we are now, supporting. I think it's there. So for me, you saw what happened. Even before the Electoral Act, the APC, they already started, membership registration. They got the expo. Those days when we were in school. There are times you have the paper, there's a leak and there's an expo. They got the expo and they started beforehand. I said that I don't have any trust in this INEC. I know what I'm saying. I'm not happy. I'll be part of INEC. I have in terms of monitoring election all my life. Maybe I left secondary school. I did monitoring election. I know what is just that I'm not a staff. I know what is going on there. Before now, you see, the issue that I talked about, the issue of that, bimodal voters accreditation system was, at the time, the politicians would go procure, voters cards. They warehouse it in their secret place, thinking that Beavers was to check.
And it did to a great extent. Because you have to be verified.
Exactly, you have to be verified. And you have to be captured. So if you're the presiding officer, you say, okay, in my unit, 10 million people, turn out. I'm going to check in the storage. They're not up to 1,000. That there's a problem. Unlike before the Beavers, the presiding officer can just decide to tip. Maybe at the end of the voting exercise, 100 people turn out for that polling unit, and the politician just okay, I want to increase it to 2,000. Take this and they begin to tip every person that came and they fill the balanced ballots.
Right. So, but let me ask.
That's exactly what happened.
Right.
Till the Beavers. So the problem we are facing in this country, as I have said, we lack sincerity on purpose.
Right. So I like
that now I'm coming up with this law. You see, law have lived you.
Right. But just a minute. Doesn't it mean that when we have direct primaries, the person who is most popular tend to emerge in the party, not basically the person who has more money? Because I've heard arguments and people say, how many persons can you buy across the country? So the person who's most popular, because a lot of complaints into the delegate system where people warehouse delegates, some delegates are taken into hotel rooms, you cannot see them for months, some politicians warehouse them so they could vote those particular politicians. But now it is a contest of popularity. If you are popular, you win, you take the day.
You see, democracy is a funny thing. It's a funny thing. You see, you said the issue of direct primaries. I ask you, not candidate influence voters during elections. same way the aspirant will influence voters, party members during that direct primaries. Same way. And the party will say, okay, look at the records. In this place, how many of our members do we have? They'll tell you that, yes, maybe at the end of the day, 3,000 showed up. They will increase it to 5. They will look at these are our candidate that we want to him or her to represent us in this forthcoming election in this particular seat. Increase it again. You see, the system, we must create a system that works. This system that we currently have is not working.
So it was a delegate system working. There were complaints, and people were even paid.
Yes, I'm not disputing that. But the issue is this: we must create the platform or the system to be free of any fraud trace. I know there's no system that is completely out of fraud. We know that, but we must reduce it to the barest minimum.
Right. So
you don't create a system to favor you. That is my problem with this government.
But there are no facts to that. Everybody is subjected under the same act, both the APC, the PDP, and every other political party. In fact, the ADC has started their online e-registration. And I just saw a memo from Labour Party, I think.
Even PDP, they started their registration. But the point is, the APC has since finished their registration almost a week or 2 weeks ago, before their congresses. So for us, and they have everything fine-tuned and everything.
There's 1 year, everybody can meet up the time.
You see, we missed it. I told you in this platform, sister platform, that President Tinubu is behaving as if he's in opposition. It was barely 8 months or 7 months or thereabout when he started campaigning.
President Tinubu has never campaigned, to the best of my knowledge. I've never seen President Tinubu campaign.
That you see the big balls and left right on Airport Road. You don't see the big balls sponsored by Topolo and many others.
But he's not the president.
There was a time his son Sheyi in Asokoro, Maitama had all the posters around this thing. Even at the time, the wife and your president, as if he's a man that don't discover new love, they'll have their very big bodies. See, but
those billboards, let's say vote President Tinubu for 2027. I've not seen that. They didn't say vote him for 2027.
They wrote 2027. That's why they see my brother. You see.
But then they never said vote President Tinubu.
But I try to be very careful. Try to be very careful. This is national TV. You see. Oh my God, why are we like this? You are a journalist. You saw the way Mendy, treated the trash, what's his name again? Daniel Boala. You see, such character, such charlatan. You must be bold to look at authority and say, yes, this is what you have.
Right, we could talk about what we're based on fact. I've not seen President Tinubu campaign.
Let me learn with this thought. Daniel Boala is a lawyer from a last record. If you can go to United Kingdom in Al Jazeera platform to deny what he said, that should tell you that we have a problem in this country. If such a person to have been among the judges in the tribunal, what do you expect? You expect a good result? Such a character? He's already an ambassador to Mexico, and you should expect something fantastic. You see, when you begin to reward praises, you now create room for charlatans. And that's exactly what you have.
Right. No, but we have to balance the conversation, and that's our role as a media.
Right? No, it's part of it.
Yeah, it's right. And that's what we are balancing. We are balancing. We have to balance that role. We have to balance that role. We have other persons who may be contesting in the 2027 general elections, and we've seen their fans and we've seen their supporters do posters, and we've seen them also put out their faces, but people are not talking about it. We are not saying that it is right, because INEC has not opened the portal for campaigns, right? And we could talk about that, but we have to balance the conversation. We've not seen
your brother,
President
our brother, Yedeba of Abuja, went to, he transversed the 23, it's not 23 local government rivers. He transversed the 23 campaigning for Tinubu.
Was that a campaign?
Oh my God, what do you call that? They went to dance Kelebu.
It was homecoming. It was talking about the things that President Tinubu has done. So when you speak about what you've done, you never said anybody vote for Tinubu.
No, they went to preach the renewed hope. That does it. No, with a lace of Kelebu. I understand.
But let's look at one of the other things that we see in the new act, and that's NIN. Are requirements for party membership registration. We've seen that we say party membership was now be linked to the National Identification Number, NIN, and some opposition member says millions of Nigerians do not have the NIN and may be disenfranchised because of this. So let me get your view, especially knowing that our database system in the country seems to be not aligned. There are a lot of data processes. The NIN is there, the voter card, international passport, and all of this. But for a membership registration, you need your NIN. What do you think about that?
You see, let me quickly say this. For me, I don't have any problem with the system that tries to get the society involved. You see, democracy is all about the people. I can tell you, we are talking about NIN. How many of our persons can you see are with NIN? I'm for the ruler. I'm not speaking for myself. That is the gospel truth. Many of our people rely on those other, electronic banking and whatever, which ordinarily does not require NIN or so to speak. For me, I don't have any problem with it. But if it's a nation that is driven by data, by records, I'll be home and dry. Let me ask you a question. When was the last time that Nigeria conducted a census to know the population of this country? When was the last time? Can you remind me, please?
That was many years ago.
Like how many years ago? That was 2006.
2006.
And we're in 2026. How many years? That's about 20 years. A child was born that 2026. Now it's 20 years. Perhaps if it's fast and quick, it should be in the university. Rounding up in the university. If it's in the village like me, from a village man, perhaps by now it should be in giving a birth to a child or two. And you want to? I have a problem. I said it in this platform the last time. Nigeria is not a data-driven country. And we are not bothered. But here, you will see NNPC, just to add L, they use how many billions? The things that ought to have been germane to us as a country, to put us at a pedestal, and at an enviable pedestal, is lacking.
Right. So are you not seeing that with these moves now being made by the Electoral Act now, where the electronic register is needed for all political parties, that's going digital and having those data that we've talked about? We've not really had enough data, because now you can go online and check, and get to see who is a member of a political party at which world and all of that. It's there online for everybody to access. So that's a digital process. And the NIN now linking, so we could know as a means of identification if you are a Nigerian, first of all, before you can be registered with a political party. So we don't have persons infiltrate a political system. It could be a step in the right direction.
It's in the wrong direction.
You say it's the wrong direction.
My association with you is personal. It's personal. My association to align with Global TV is personal.
But the association to align with a political party in Nigeria
is personal.
Because you contest, or you may.
It's personal. Whatever I do with it is none of your business. It's not. It's not. I can enter anytime, can exit any moment. I can decide to be apolitical.
But these are vehicles for choosing our leaders.
Definitely, vehicle for choosing our leaders. Good.
That will ultimately have effects on Nigerians.
The general process of selecting is for me to have to go register to vote. That's the general process. If truly, I don't know why they are concerned about the destination. Not really where that is a process, that's a journey that will take us to that destination. It's the process, it's the journey seamless. That is what we need to ask ourselves. I'm telling you that, okay, I'm going to, I'm looking at, how would I put it, to say, I'm going to rivers. The journey towards that rivers, I must have it in, I must have it well thought out. That's okay, this journey is seamless. I'm talking about XYZ. The process towards it is fraud. And you expect a good result.
How's the process flawed?
I said something just now.
Right.
You look at section 48, I'm not mistaken, 52, 60. You just look at it. You can look at it. You see, you look at it. Those are the ringing. What mechanism have we put in place to checkmate? If you say that IRF is a viewing portal, or a viewing house, or a playing ground, or a place where they go to watch Arsenal or Barcelona, there's a problem. Ordinarily, the IRF ought to have been, a process that is to enhance transparency. It is a backup end where we will say, okay, this is exactly what transpired that day. Let's go and when they are playing football, they go to when they look at whether it is foul or not.
Yeah.
Exactly. That is what it is. That is what it is. That's what the IRF is. If the judiciary can so reduce it to a main viewing house, to a main, playground for children, Supreme Court, I have a problem.
Right, but the court is not a Father Christmas. They look at the evidences provided before they make cases. But let's look at other cases that we have, Mr. Nabulele. Let's look at the election timetable. We've seen an INEC announce the election timetable for the 2027 general elections to be by January, and we've seen some political parties who've come out to say that. The timetable does not favor them, and they're also saying that they may be boycotting the 2027 general elections. It was February before the adjustments, because when it came out in February, some Nigerians also complained that February is Ramadan, and the Muslims may not have a lot of energy to put into the process. But who knows why? INEC has now shifted it to January. So effectively, we have less than a year to the 2027 general election. Are you comfortable with the timetable of the elections?
I will tell you yes or no. Sorry, no, I'm not a football fan. The only football fan I am is Better Insurance. When two teams want to have a match, want to compete, the referee, the linesman, will come to the center field. They will have tete-a-tete with the two competing teams. Am I right? With the last man. So for me, INEC here, as I have said earlier, he is more of I don't know the language. You ought to have consulted. You ought to have consulted the key players. You don't just sit down on your own and come up with, because you have consulted the president and his party. And you are home and dry.
We don't have evidence. We don't have evidence.
So the point is this: you consult them. What they are saying, I read it, that they were never consulted. Who does that? See, you want to decide my life without involving me.
So it's about consultation now.
Definitely. My father cannot just tell me that, okay, look, boy, you are going to read engineering. I have I bought your form, I fill it and everything. You go to without consulting me, without assessing me, whether I'm proper and fit, whether I have the intellectual prowess to martial out or to study engineering. Who does that? I'm just using small analogy. That's where it is. You must interface with them. Because whether you like, if you are not there, you are a nullity. If the parties are not there, you are nothing. See, you are there because of them. And you must carry them at every bit of the way. Every bit.
Right.
If you sleep, you wake up. I want to tell you, invite them. If you sleep and you're not clear and your dream is to somehow drifting towards Ojota, you invite them. If you sleep, you wake up, maybe your dream is going to Obiakpo, you invite them. Because you have consulted your benefactor. Oh, indeed, everybody can go to hell. Who does that? We're not living in the banana republic.
Those are allegations that you've made, and INEC maybe looked at it. I think because February.
You will recall.
Because by February, some Nigerians, you've not talked about that point. Some Nigerians complain that February is Ramadan for Muslims, and they may not have as much involvement in Nigeria's election. Some persons were even suggesting that INEC could have moved the date for the election forward, maybe to March or April.
You see, I think I had a discussion in one of these podcasts some time ago. You see, we can't be more Roman Catholic than the Pope. Can we be more Roman Catholic than the Pope?
The Pope is the head of the Catholic Church.
Can we be more religious than the Israel? Can you just answer me? Can Nigerians be more religious? Can I Destiny Osoro can be more Christian or religious? Let me use the word religious than Israel or Iran.
I do not understand.
Where are they today? Are they not fighting war in the midst of us? We are deceiving ourselves. We are not serious as a nation. You see, one of the problems, the pain of Nigeria is religion. That has put us at this, conundrum. And we are fighting it all out to come out. Even within the house here. That's why I was some talking about Christian genocide and what have you. I told them, indeed, yes. But the issue is this, and there was this, that it wasn't only Christian and all that. I said, the question I asked them, I said, one thing, our lives not being lost? They said, yes. So forget about whether he's Christian. Our brothers are big, brothers and sisters, our wives, just name them, mothers are being killed. That should be something the denominator we need to take away. That lives have been lost. Whether it's Christian or is it Philatexima, it doesn't matter. Are they not killing us? They're killing us. That's enough to unite us, to fight the common enemy. And here we are divided along religious line. No, it's Islam, it's Muslim, it's Christian, it's Pentecostal, it's Catholic, it's whatever. That is insanity. This issue of religious division or religious inclination has what led us to the Nigerian Civil War, has what triggered the first coup, Santana and the rest, the killing and everything. And today, after how many years? 50 years if I'm not mistaken, we're still neck deep in it.
So what will be your suggestion? We have to end the program now. What will be your suggestion?
Right. Since we keep on doing same way, and we expect a different result, don't you think we need to go to a psychiatric to re-evaluate our
who are those I should go to?
All of us Nigerians.
I should go to a psychiatrist.
All of us Nigerians. All of us, including my uncle said.
We should meet a psychiatrist.
If what divided us, what led us to embark on a coup that killed our brothers, that killed our sisters, that make Nigeria today, we have not survived from that 1963 or whatever. 1966 till today.
Right.
And we're still thinking.
All right, but I just ask you, let me end the program now by asking you which month you were to give your suggestion, because you are also a stakeholder.
I'm a stakeholder.
Yeah, if the consultation was made and you were to give, which dates will you suggest for the elections, the 2027 general elections?
The first
Which
date,
month?
to me, the first date.
February.
Yes.
February.
But more suitable.
Thank you so much,
for
Mr.
me,
Thank you so much, Mr. Destiny. Always a pleasure speaking to you. Thank you so much. We wish you all of the best. Thank you so much. We hope to keep speaking to you. That's the size of our program for tonight. Remember, Nigeria is our country and we must love this country, protect the country and contribute a quota to the development of the country. My name is Ubong Musora in Abuja and I'm saying bye for now.
Politics decides our economy. Politics shapes our security. Politics defines our future. But who is asking the hard question?
Is in team